Chloë Grace Moretz is one name you must be familiar with, wearing a purple wig and fighting bad guys, or surviving a post-apocalyptic future. The point is that she's one person you've seen countless times on your TV screens or in movie theaters. But as a former child actor, she didn't have it easy. In this video, we'll be discussing her experience with acting alongside an older cast, the setbacks she faced, and more. First of all, here's how she recalled her experience of acting during her teenage years. Moretz recently dished the details regarding her experience as a child star during a podcast interview on Rain with Josh Smith. Let's just say the actress didn't hold back at all, and shared what it was like growing up and constantly feeling dismissed and infantilized by others on the film sets, especially by older men. According to Chloë Grace, she used to feel like she was in a power struggle to have something as simple as her feedback taken seriously, which is, of course, a legit concern. She shared that the behavior and attitude that others showed to her was always odd, and this wasn't a one-time thing. It's not like former child actors have stuff easy. Nope, this had been happening to her since her first breakthrough role in Carrie. And if you do the math correctly, you'll realize she was only 14 back then. Yikes. Imagine being 14 and no one's taking you seriously. Sounds like a description of our childhood, we're not gonna lie. But it must have been extra frustrating for Moretz, because giving feedback script-wise and so on is a part of her job. According to the If I Stay actress, it was interesting to her who would be unhappy with a young woman, and even mentioned that people, older men, wouldn't accept her ideas, what with most of her work receiving lots of pushback. Coming up, how did the actress receive pushback from older men in the showbiz industry? Moretz gradually identified a pattern in the people who, to quote the actress herself, shot down the actress throughout her childhood, even though, to be frank, all of Chloë Grace's comments and feedback were pretty spot on. She shared that the older men would infantilize her by basically dismissing anything that the actress suggested. The 25-year-old actress added that the experience of having to advocate for your ideas and opinions to an older man on behalf of your younger self, in the case of Moretz, well, we're talking about her 14 to 16-year-old self. She could only describe this as a crazy kind of mind f***. Yikes. We can't imagine how exhausting that must have been for her, and especially to go through that at such a young age. Moretz added that by playing characters in a movie that are the same age as her, she's essentially advocating for all the female characters of her exact age at that time. It's like she's letting everyone watching know they're not alone. She also explained that she felt like it was difficult for her to understand how to conduct herself in a way that she'll be respected, and preferably in a way that'll make sure she's respected on set and given the credit that she deserves. Up next, how did Moretz solve this issue? Now, we're not gonna lie. Being infantilized by older men at such a young age is a difficult experience to process, but it must be tenfold more of an exhausting thing to deal with as an actor, especially a child actor. So how exactly did Chloë deal with it? She said that the trick she learned was to be very sweet and kind of adopted a much more back-footed approach with the older men on set when she had to present her ideas to the room. Moretz described the back-footed process as one where she ended up proposing questions in such a way that the men assumed that her ideas, were actually something they had come up with, as well, their own, and that it would eventually come back around to Moretz, who would artfully react with a solid performance where she'd be all like, "Oh my god, what a novel idea that you have on behalf of my character." That, she didn't just spoon-feed you. So, did she play the long game? Did she use reverse psychology on them? Either way, she outwitted them and won, something we're super proud of. But these aren't the only solutions that Chloë Grace has found in handling this behavior. Another trick she recently learned is to focus on being honest rather than putting all her energy on people-pleasing, something she used to be quite guilty of in the past. The most important thing of all is establishing boundaries, a new thing for her. Maybe because she didn't learn any boundaries in life. It's okay. Baby steps make a difference. Moving on to the next segment, how did Chloë Grace land her role in the movie Hugo? Can you believe that Chloë Grace was able to prank the veteran Oscar-winning Scorsese himself into believing that the 25-year-old Georgia-born actress was actually British? And no, we're not at all pulling your leg. This is a real story, and here's how she successfully fooled the film director. Moretz explained that Martin Scorsese flew her co-star Asa Butterfield and her out to New York so that they could audition in front of the man himself. And get this, Chloë was speaking in an extremely convincing British accent throughout the audition. It turns out, the actress had lived in London for 5 months while filming Kick. In those 5 months, she was able to pick up the rhythm of the accent, which is one of the main things you've got to have a good hold of. The actress also explained that there's a huge difference in how the British act and speak, so she had to stay in character with Marty until the end. But wait, there's more. Not only did she master the accent, but she also created a whole backstory for her character. For some weird reason, known only to Moretz herself, her parents were horse breeders, and that the family all lived in the Cotswolds. But hey, it got her the gig, so maybe the lie gets cancelled out in the end. Interestingly, the director director had no clue that one of his main leads wasn't British until a month into production. He was caught by surprise when he heard her speak in her normal American accent. Up next, here's how she prepared for her role in Hugo. It turns out that Moretz got special tutoring for her role as Isabel in the movie Hugo. And guess who gave her pop quizzes on all the greats of cinematic history? None other than Martin Scorsese himself. The actress described the esteemed director as a huge cinephile, who had a habit of teaching her a lot about cinematic history, both for the role and her own knowledge. She recalled that one of the first things Martin did when she came for the pre-production stage of filming was drop off a big box containing around 25 or 30 movies. And here's the fun part. Moretz had to watch all the movies before production for Hugo started. The ice hockey fan said that her co-star, Asa Butterfield, also got a box full of movies as homework, but the ones he'd watched were different from hers, so no chance of cheating, and that it was a fun exercise because it got their muscles flexing. Let's take a look at how Hugo affected Chloë Grace's career. The early 2010s were an extremely important time for the young actress because she had just gotten done with her breakthrough role in Kick and was now cast in Hugo. The satirical superhero movie Kick cemented her image as the purple wig-wearing, foul-mouthed vigilante hit girl. The audience loved her performance, and the same goes for the movie, which was equally fun to watch. Hugo, which follows the story of a boy living in a railway station, the actress was able to transition into much more serious roles. After starring in Hugo, Moretz basically stepped up her acting game through her performances in movies like Clouds of Sils Maria and If I Stay. While in 2016, Chloë announced she'd be reassessing the roles she chooses in movies, which caused her to lean more towards working in movies like The Miseducation of Cameron Post. Though, if we're being honest, we loved her acting in Hugo the most because she looked so innocent and lively in it. But then again, we're biased, and Chloe's obviously wonderful at her job. Lastly, what else has the actress been up to? She's by far one of the most promising actresses in Hollywood, and has recently starred in The Peripheral, a sci-fi drama series set in the future where technology has subtly altered society, and a woman finds a secret connection to an alternate reality and her own dark future. Okay, so we're officially hooked, and we'll definitely be binge-watching the show. According to an interview with Comic Book, other than the 2022 sci-fi series, the actress is also in talks with Marvel Studios. But before you get excited, know that she hasn't shared what her role is exactly, or even what the project is for that matter. But what Moretz did share was that she'd absolutely love to play a villain. It doesn't matter if she joins Marvel or the DC Universe, but she would make her big entrance as the bad guy, or else it's just not worth it, you know? She also didn't specify if the thing's a done deal or not, but here's what we do know for sure. If the actress joins the MCU, then she might be considered for a role in the Fantastic Four movie as Sue Storm, aka the Invisible Woman. With Matt Shakman as the director, the MCU's planning to reboot the storyline, but nothing's been confirmed by Feige about the movie itself. Is it an origin story? Is it going to connect somehow to the rest of the MCU phase's movies? Or will it focus on the Fantastic Four when they were younger? If that's the case, then Moretz, who would be 27 by the time the reboot hits theaters, would be a great young Sue Storm. That's a wrap for this video. What did you think about Chloë Grace's acting in the movie Hugo? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.